What the heck is this nonsense? Six Flags has approached Cedar Fair with a merger offer, which would combine the two companies. Who on earth thought that was a good idea? First of all, I cannot believe they are legitimately trying to do this. Second of all, there's no way this is happening. And I'm going to be talking all about that in this video. The first reason why Six Flags combining with Cedar Fair is a bad idea is because this would be a monopoly. Competition is a good thing, guys. As much as it may be a hassle having more than one season pass, if Six Flags and Cedar Fair merge, then there's no reason to add these big new additions. These parks build new roller coasters to get people to come in the gate and give them a reason to choose their park over another. There are a few places around America where there is a Six Flags and Cedar Fair park not very far away from each other at all. Mainly Northern California with Discovery Kingdom and California's Great America, Southern California with Six Flags Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farm, and the Mid-Atlantic with King's Dominion and Six Flags America. And there are several others that are kind of close, but those are the three main closest ones. Combining companies would not be an improvement. And I think everyone is in agreement there. I've talked to maybe one person who said, yeah, it's a good idea because now I only need one season pass. I'm sorry, but this deal would not be good for any of these parks. Can you actually imagine Six Flags owning Cedar Point or Kings Island, Canada's Wonderland, Knott's Berry Farm? Seriously, Six Flags owning Knott's Berry Farm? No, there's no way. In addition, Six Flags, in case you weren't aware, is about $2.7 billion in debt. That's more debt they have now than back when they went bankrupt. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that Cedar Fair stock is actually more expensive than Six Flags. To my knowledge, we don't actually know how many total shares there are, but in case you're interested, Cedar Fair stock is about $59.72. That's up 2.6%. Six Flags right now is down 2.3% at $50.35. Why is Cedar Fair more expensive? Cedar Fair just in general is a higher quality company. They're charging more for a better experience. The Six Flags business model does not work for Cedar Fair. Yes, they add a new addition at every single park every year. But if you look at just how they structure their season passes, let's use that as an example. The whole membership program. It's cheap to become a Six Flags member. It's because you're paying for quantity, not quality. Cedar Fair, for the most part, is quality over quantity. Personally, I think it would be very interesting to see what the response would be if this whole situation were flipped and Cedar Fair had approached Six Flags about acquiring them. Would we be in favor of it, or would it be the same results? Cedar Fair recently just acquired Schlitterbahn, but you have to think about it this way. Cedar Fair isn't going to change much with Schlitterbahn. They're only investing in the property. They're not changing the name or how they do things. Six Flags, should they acquire Cedar Fair, would change just about everything, including the park name. How's that going to go over? Here's another reason why this will never happen. Six Flags has not bought any new parks recently. And you might be saying, well, okay, what did they just acquire Darien Lake or Frontier City? No. They bought the management contracts. They don't own the property. They just run the property. It's a cheap way of them saying, yeah, we own another park. Six Flags does not own all of their parks. Trust holders own certain parts of them. Cedar Fair, on the other hand, owns all of their properties, and that includes California's Great America. They recently just acquired all of the land, so now they are in full ownership of that property. Six Flags cannot say the same. This whole concept is Six Flags' way of trying to hide the fact that their current parks aren't doing as well as they want them to be, and so they're saying, well, look, our company is growing, but it's not because of these new additions they're doing, it's because they're just growing the company in size with new additions. The only way for Six Flags to grow is to acquire. That's why, if you remember a while back, they tried to acquire SeaWorld Entertainment. Obviously, that didn't happen, and really this whole situation just feels like deja vu. The idea that Six Flags is acquiring SeaWorld just kind of came out of nowhere, and clearly it didn't work out for them, and so Six Flags probably said, okay, well, we couldn't acquire SeaWorld, who else can we try? We have to acquire somehow. That's how we're going to grow our company. Let's try Cedar Fair. Let's see if we can acquire them. Because that's a brilliant idea. SeaWorld is a smaller company than Cedar Fair. So they said, well, if we can't acquire them, let's go after a bigger company. Great idea, Six Flags. What are you going to do? Go after Universal and Disney next? Now, here's another possibility. So if you ask me, this is never going to happen. You want a bit more realistic situation? Maybe Six Flags, instead of buying out, just becomes a majority shareholder. They buy up a bunch of the stock. I still don't see that happening, but maybe they say, well, instead of going after the entire company, let's just take over a few of the parks if Cedar Fair wanted to dump some. I personally do not think Cedar Fair is interested in dumping any of their parks. But let's say they acquire Michigan's Adventure or Valley Fair. You don't as much have that competition issue because those parks are kind of remote from everywhere else. And it was interesting, I asked on my Facebook page, which parks do you think would benefit from Six Flags owning them? And a few people said, I think that Valley Fair or Michigan's Adventure would do better as a Six Flags park. I personally am not sure I agree with that. However, they would be getting new additions. That's certainly more than Cedar Fair has done for them. But anyone who's been to a Six Flags park or Cedar Fair park can tell a difference in atmosphere. You want the simplest example? You don't walk around a Cedar Fair park and see advertisements everywhere. Six Flags, you might be riding in a roller coaster where the train is wrapped in a hair gel advertisement. Who thought that was a good idea? So why is this happening now? I think the timing of this is very interesting because Six Flags' third quarter just ended, so the fourth quarter is beginning, which means the third quarter numbers are going to come out at the end of the month. If the numbers are bad, they could at least use some leverage and say, well, we are interested in buying some parks. And it kind of offsets the fact that they're not doing as well. They're kind of trying to steer away from that. Use it as a distraction. So I think the timing of this makes perfect sense. It's a business decision. You have to remember, at the end of the day, these theme park companies are a business. They're in it to make money, so they're going to do whatever it takes to maximize their revenue. Six Flags' model is cheaper experiences, quantity over quality. Let's acquire as much as we can, give people access to all these different locations through a cheap membership program, and that's how we grow the company. And as much crap as we give Six Flags, you have to commend them because to some extent that model does work for them. It's just a different way of doing things. You might not like it, but it has proven successful for them. So will this happen? No, there's no way. I imagine we will probably never hear about this ever again. And then maybe next year or a few months from now, we'll hear something else pop up about how Six Flags is looking to acquire some other company's parks. It seems to be like a regular thing now. So that's about all I got. Make sure to comment below what you think of this whole situation, if you agree with the various points I've brought up, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post videos every day, so make sure to stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios. I'll see you guys next time.